2024 is set to bring some fiscal changes to the U.S. economy. Here with his professional predictions, Brent Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management. Good to see you, Brent. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes. Last day of the year.
So you look back at 2023 and you're looking ahead to 2024.
Yeah, we want to look back at 2023 to learn from lessons that hopefully people will realize not to do. I mean, we had a terrible year when you look at 2023. You had to start off in the springtime with the regional banking crisis. We've had 2 wars happen this year. We had the strikes against the automakers, against the entertainment industry. I'm forgetting another big 10-year treasury went up to above 5%, fear of inflation. And what happened? We ended the year with positive returns. And this is why I tell people all the time, look at January 1, December 31st, and in between is a bunch of noise. Now, you have to understand what that noise is to make sure it's not for real, but understand what it is, and then use those lessons to manage your 401k, your IRAs, your investments going forward for 2024.
Okay. And what do you see ahead for 2024 when it comes to like interest rates and things like that?
What we saw for 2024 now, we're going to see interest rates decline. We finally have inflation under control, so that's a positive. We can see, I think, 3 probably cuts throughout the year in 2024, more probably second half of the year. But these are all positives. We dealt with rising interest rates in the past, which hurt us in 2022. But going forward, we have declining interest rates, which is good for the economy, good for investing. You have to know where to be investing.
What do you say to somebody who they're hearing we have inflation under control? I'm hearing that. Inflation's under control. Well, why am I still spending so much money on everything from gas to groceries to everything I buy at the store?
Well, it all depends on the times you look at it and what you're buying. Some people, inflation is way out of control because of what they purchase. Other people are like, oh, it's not bad at all. It depends what you buy. The basket of inflation indicators of CPI is about 600 different items. So again, if you're not buying all 600 of those items equally, your inflation could be different. But you have to look at saying, well, that's expensive. Maybe the price of meat is expensive. Well, maybe I should buy pork for a change. And that will bring prices down because supply-demand issues will work in forces. But some people say, oh, yeah, and we are humans. We forget what we really paid for something. Our wages are up, things are better, but there are going to be times where, yeah, your situation, inflation could be worse because of what you buy.
What about real estate investments?
Real estate investments is something that we think will do well going forward. Actually, when rates decline, REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, and I want people to avoid buying private REITs. Do not buy a private REIT. Buy the public REITs that trade on the New York Stock Exchange. That's what you want to buy. But they generally beat the S&P 500 when rates are declining by about 4.5%. Now, we think the good ones to be into would be your medical property type REITs that deal with hospitals, surgical centers. We think also too, Class A commercial buildings we believe will do well in 2024, 2025, but be careful. Class C and B buildings, maybe not so much, so you have to understand what you're doing. I try to guide people for our investors. We actually do buy just Class A buildings, and we think that, gosh, you're gonna get probably on a 6% yield on top of maybe a 10 to 15% appreciation. So 2024, you can do very well with public REITs that are invested in, again, hospitals, surgical centers, commercial properties, many different ones out there. I'd say stay away from the malls. Type.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. That's good advice. How about equities?
Equities will be, we think, very strong. You want to be careful where you go into. I mean, we think doing well in 2024 would be your food, beverage companies, and they pay a nice yield of 3 to 4%. Think about that, that if you get you pay $10 for stock, goes up 70 cents, not very much, but you get 3% yield, well, that's a 10% return. It doesn't take a whole lot to get that nice, comfortable 10% return. Energy, right now, oil's pretty low. We think that could spike in 2024, so energy investments could do well. Healthcare is something that's not done well. We think that will do well in 2024, along with financials. Financials had a big run up this year, but there's so much money in the economy. Just in equity in houses, there's $16 trillion. People can be shocked in 2024 that they put it into money markets and short-term CDs. Well, wait a minute, I'm not getting that 4%, that 5% CD any longer. Where else should I go? So there's a lot of money in the economy in 2024. It also is an election year for the president. 75% of the time, equities go up about 7.5% or better. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a crazy, crazy year. We already are seeing the Supreme Court getting into the elections, but don't let stuff like that scare you. Look at your investments. Do I have quality investments? You do. And if I have a minute to talk about Bitcoin, I want to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin could go up a little bit more. because it's done this. This will be the third time. Happened back in 2020 because of the futures of Bitcoin. The rumors sent it up. Then you had the futures on the ETF sent it up. Now we're talking about what they call spot Bitcoin, which is actual spot Bitcoin. If that goes through or doesn't go through, until that time frame is going to go up. And what I really hate about Bitcoin is that right now there's a lot of gangs, terrorist gangs, a lot of hackers that are saying to these big companies, pay us in Bitcoin. What the company have to do? They got to go out and borrow Bitcoin to pay off these hackers, bad actors, and so forth. So Bitcoin probably could see a little spike up, and I think it's going to be as before. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I think we need to sell Bitcoin again this year because it's a gambling chip.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all it is.
You've told us that ad nauseum.
And it goes up and down and up and down,
yeah.
and it's up now. It's fallen in 2024.
Okay,
So.
well, we'll have you right here all year to tell us about how things are going.
We'll be here in a couple of weeks again. Yeah, so we're here every Sunday there
All
for
right,
you.
Happy New Year to you.
You too.